The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Hello and a pleasant good morning. Welcome to Guardian Radio AM. This is C.A. Newry, and sorry for this late start. I was downstairs, actually. Man, Guardian Media Group has a large jamboree happening downstairs, and everybody who's anybody is downstairs taking advantage of the opportunities. We have all kind of groups there. Free giveaway. I mean, they giving out free things if you bring your children. I'm kind of excited about that. The show is supposed to have been downstairs. That's why I was there waiting. But we couldn't get no internet. We could not get any internet, so they had to summon me. April was looking for me up and down because I was in a crowd, right? So April had to come downstairs and look for me and say, man, Nuri, come upstairs because this internet thing ain't working. We ain't going live no more. So I'm upstairs now. I'm going to do some things that is inside the news. Hopefully we get connected for the other shows. But if you do have some school children, if your children attend UB, if they're still home and not in school, because I know a number of schools started already, down to Guardian Radio, Guardian Media Group, Guardian Newspaper, and take advantage of the opportunities. We have a back-to-school jamboree, which is going to be from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. That's 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. We have a number of sponsors downstairs, right? Let's see if I can get to read the sponsors. They sent me the clip, but it's small. That ain't working. Well, at least I look like I ain't going to be able to read the sponsors because I can't see anything. But definitely it's a partnership between Guardian Media Group and the Rotary and a number of other sponsors. I saw Kalina, Purity Bakery. There's food down there. I mean, there's all kind of food and giveaways down there. If you have a young girl, children, and who needs their hair braided for school to start Monday, it's free. They have like about 25 hair braiders downstairs there, just plaiting away, doing all kind of different hairstyles. So I was very much impressed with that. There are a number of people who need that volunteer credits. You know, when to get graduate, you have to do community service. So they have a whole cadre of people downstairs. Without moving from that, pivoting from that, I saw that the FNM named more candidates last night. That was exciting, right? They named 3 men and 4 women. It seems like the FNM is being deliberate of trying to include more women. They promised such, right? It should see and how it pans out in terms of how many of their FNM candidates, females, will end up having a seat. But the idea that they are nominating a number of women tells a tale about the party in regards that women seem to be pushing their way forward to say, hey, I deserve a spot. I deserve opportunity. I am a ratified member and I want to contribute. And that says a lot about the leadership also of the FNM party. So it should be interesting to see how it goes. 3 of the women were nominated, or ratified is a better word, will be Donnelly Penn Mackey, right? We're familiar with her. She attempted to go into politics before. There's a Heather McDonald. There's a Travania Clark Hall, right? There is a Michaela Barnett Ellis. So that was interesting. What I also found interesting was Lincoln Deal. He switched, I wouldn't say switch seats, but switch opportunities, because constituencies, because I thought he was going to be for that Kalani, and all of a sudden he is in that Freetown area. So that was interesting. And again, we see Servant Roller, who is, I think, is Secretary General. I see that a number of what I call, that's the right word, vested party officials, like Secretary General, Chairman of the party, wants to run. I'm not sure if this is a new dispensation of how they will be doing politics. You run to be in a local chapter or to control your party itself, and then you lobby from that to become a member of parliament or a candidate to run for a member of parliament. And again, I saw Travis Robertson, who will be going against Ambassador Sebastian Bastian. That's one of the seats. The entire Bahamas is looking forward to in terms of the election to see how that pans out. Both are formidable candidates, right? Travis Robertson, politician in the history of the Bahamas, right? He is politically savvy. He ended up being the deputy chair of the FNM, right? He understands politics, even though for his age. Ambassador Sebastian Bastian, he's been ambassador for through 3 different administrations. So he's politically savvy. He understands governance in a particular degree. And in terms of a giant in the community, Sebastian Bastian is a giant. So that should be an interesting lying up in terms of that constituency. So that is one of the things I could talk about. If you wish, you can call in and join us at 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. And of course, if you're calling from the Family Islands, you can call 242-300-5720. As we just talk until we get these things set up downstairs and get that internet up and running, right? So it's good that I have the paper here to go through. I see chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, Frederick Mitchell, is warning about the avalanche of fake. I love that word he used, avalanche. There is a proliferation of fake news, non-stop. And I'm not sure who is generating the fake news, because the fake news tend to have no author, but it's proliferating and it's being spread and being forwarded like crazy throughout the Bahamas, right? And I think, just me, I think the government is having a challenge regarding what is true and what is false, because these people using these AI functions, right? And we see the people mouth moving. We see our politicians mouth moving. We seeing half truths. That's kind of true, but when you analyze them, man, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So clearly we need a more discerning public now. But how does one become discerning when you don't know what is true or not? Or if it sounds true, it sounds factual. But reading this article, it says Progressive Liberal Party Fred Mitchell yesterday warned Bahamians to be wary of an avalanche of fake news on social media. What is worse is the tendency of so many social actors to accept what are, in most cases, illogical and irrational conspiracy theories, even individuals who are normally discerning, Mitchell said in a statement. And I understand his point, right? And mind you, it'll take a lot of effort, especially in this dispensation where a number of Bahamians just don't trust the government. We just don't trust politicians. So when you are upset and when people are not addressing your issues, and when there is a lack of information and frankness and providing information by the government and by the politicians, there leaves a vacuum. There leaves a vacuum where people who is searching the truth, anything that sounds the truth. So when we don't have freedom of information, some people are not being forthright with the information and readily with the information. So therefore, the information will be crafted. So even though I see Mr. Mitchell as the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party is making the case that the Bahamian people need to be wary of the fake news, his party, and by extension the government, has a duty of care with supplying us with the information. And if you don't supply us with information, fake news is going to come to the head and float to the top, right? We shouldn't be grasping, guessing information. It should be readily available, right? I saw recently what is trending, a old report, I think it was a Guardian News report, but in 2018, there was a Bahamian citizen who had a smuggling ring into the United States, right? Apparently, he had this fake passport documentation where he was smuggling immigrants into the United States, and the FBI in the United States was investigating it. He was investigating it with Bahamian officials, and to the point, if my memory serves me correct, we had to redo all our passports at one point in time. We had to introduce the smart passports, like e-passports, and then we had to introduce a new e-passports, like within months or within the same year, to rectify the issue, correct the issue, right? But I see that article has resurfaced. And then there are a number of Bahamians saying, oh, this was being investigated. Oh, Trump don't trust the Bahamas. And I said, but our government dealt with this. Our government dealt with this. We found a couple of, he's in jail, in fact, right? But this was purposely and maliciously done for an agenda, right? For a political agenda. And I'm finding that there are political parties out there who are generating this information. I know the goal of politics is to become the government, right? But you cannot be known for mistruths. You cannot be known for crafting fake news, right? I know you're eager and exuberant in terms of you need to get to have access to power. But when you see a political party as part of its platform is doing fake news, that should be problematic. That should be problematic. But let me continue this article, right? In a free and democratic society, freedom of speech and opinion are guaranteed constitutional rights, right? However, when the individual expressions threatens the public interest, we must all be concerned. The attacks on the integrity and work permits is something that's mentioned before, without any supporting evidence other than rumors, are self-defeating. Political parties such as the COI and the FNM may believe that these wild, untruthful accusations will help them win office. But what profit is there in that when the international community may refuse to accept our documents as a result of lies told for political gain? In recent weeks, members of the Coalition of Independents, a third-party group that has galvanized support via anti-immigrant rhetoric, has accused the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of selling passports like candy. The Free National Movement has also said that there is an immigration crisis in the country. See, I think Mr. Mitchell might have gone too far there. A number of Bahamians on all divides, PLP, FNM, COI, believe there's an immigration crisis. And every time they mention the word that there's no immigration crisis, people just tune out. Now, in regards to fake passports, and people say they give no passports like crazy, that's just foolishness. That's foolishness, right? And especially if you don't have no proof that such is happening. And I understand the chairman's concern that the international world is listening. These news reports, especially via social media, is being picked up by a number of international groups, right? Saying that, man, if the political party is saying that it's true, that this is factual, perhaps no Bahamian passport should be allowed to be used to travel. I mean, that's an extreme. But now we start questioning the integrity of our passports. Now, I know there are some concerns, and I know that what is being used alarm, they say some investigations must be done. But I see the Minister of Foreign Affairs, moving from the chairman of the Progressive Party, has asked his department to ask the police to investigate if any truths are in there. I'm not sure if our police force will find any evidence of any type of corruption, but the investigation has started. The investigation has started, and we shall see how that goes. So, morning, the FNM will have a eruption of volcanoes this elections. I'm not sure what the texter means by that, right? But this is what is happening. I see the grade levels for the BGC, SE, and the BJCs out. I'm not sure if we can call the grades alarming or we call these grades expected, but there needs to be a cross-reference because we've been taking these exams for at least 31 years now. From 1994, move forward, it's about 31 years, where we have our own exam. And now, like I said, I understand that D is a medium, right? And we have over 50%, more than half of the students are getting at least 5 Ds and more. D, what is it? A through D, 5 is medium. I'm trying to say that correctly. That's an increase, meaning that more people are passing or getting than it was before. But the grades are still alarming. So I'm going to read some of the parts. It says 22% get C or above in three key subjects. And the three key subjects is science, math, and English. Let me read that. This is from the Minister of Education, right? So the Ministry of Education announced on Thursday that of the 1,684 candidates who sat 5 or more of the Bahamas General Certificate of Secondary Education, BGCSE, examinations, a total of 37.2%, or 627 candidates obtained a C or higher. I do not know if that's a good grade or not. Because when I say good grade, I mean in contrast of history. Did we increase in the numbers? Did we decrease in the numbers? I expect every year that we should be moving forward. If we had 36% last year, I'm hoping that 36.5, 36.7, 37% and moving up, that we are making strides, right? And if we are shrinking or going backwards, I would expect an explanation on what happened. Like, why did we shrink? But the numbers need to tell us, compared from 2024, there needs to be some kind of graph now. There needs to be some type of graph that I could compare that in 1994 when we first took BGCSEs, right? That the English grade, the math grade has either increased or decreased. I just need to do a comparison. It says a total of 6,103 candidates from 108 centers sat the 2025 BGCS examination, an increase from 2024, which saw a total of 5,934 candidates, right? In 2024, 11% of the BGCSE candidates receive a C grade or higher grade. Okay, let's see that. So in 2024, we had 11% of those people who took BGCSE receive a C and higher. This year, let's read that. Let's see where 2025. Right, twice on that. This year, we had 37%. See, that's the same question I was asking, right? Who sat the exam, moved from, it increased from 11% to 37%. Man, that's something to celebrate. If I'm reading it correctly, that is something to celebrate, that we need to commend, and we need to find out what we're doing well and say, okay, we're making some strides. I see we have a caller here. Let's go to the caller here. I see we're still trying to get that connection downstairs. But let's make a call here. Go ahead, caller.
Early days of stacking away so long with you on pretty April, Newry.
Yes, April is at the booth right now. How you doing?
What I want to say, right? A couple of things. One or two. See, the thing is here, right? With our country, we don't need, of course, those people, those politicians need to know this. We don't need anybody, for them to pull anybody from other country to make up the numbers in our country. We are a growing country, and we are a beautiful country with our people alone, okay? We just need to let our people grow and spread and build our country. We don't need other people to come in our country from other places to build our country for us, to make up the numbers. That is foolishness, and the governments need to know that. We don't want that. We want to build our country by ourselves, for ourselves. We don't mind people coming in, but we don't need people from other country come here to make up the numbers by the governments that go in place there. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I'm not sure if that's actually happening, that our government is purposely trying to increase our population by bringing in people. I know in the early 1900s, that's mid 1800s, we brought in a number of Scottish Irish people to go to Abaco. And we also brought in some people in the 1960s to go to Grand Bahama to make up our population, because Grand Bahama was like a backwards town, and they needed labor. So the number of Turks Island peoples went there. And then in the 1800s, they were concerned of the Bahamas after emancipation. So they brought in a number of Irish and Scots there. But I do not think that there's a conscientious effort by this government, by our government, to bring in people to make up our population. No. There are a number of people who are applying for citizenship, and I'm sure they have to meet whatever criteria it is to make that application. And there are a number of people who are entitled based on our Constitution who are applying for citizenship, and there are a number of people, what I call foreign people, like Brayman was saying, who have contributed to the Bahamas. We have loads of teachers who've been here for 25, 30 years, contributing and building the Bahamas, right? Who I think the government should offer citizenship to. They have contributed. They built our children. They built our country. The nurses and doctors who've been here for 35 odd years, 25 odd years, who've contributed to our children's development. They should be offered citizenship. I have no problem with that. So this text says, good morning, CA. So the U.S. is deporting thousands of Haitians because they are holding Bahamian passports and documents. They can speak English voters card. And to get a voter's card, you need an NIB passport. So what makes you think we are lying about illegals buying fraudulent Bahamian documents? Your opinion doesn't disprove our reality. That's just your opinion. When you join reality, you'll see the truth. Those who have eyes can see, and we refuse to stick our heads in the sand. Okay. We are a nation of laws. If you saw a person who you think have a fraudulent document, right? You should report that to the police. You say, man, Mr. Police Officer, that one there, I saw that fraudulent. The police will then do an investigation, and they will determine that is fraudulent. You can't determine it. You can suspect it, but we have authorities whose job it is to determine it, right? Can someone who doesn't speak English get citizenship? Yes. Our Constitution doesn't say that you have to speak English. So yes, someone who speaks French, Spanish, German, who meet the other criteria to get citizenship can get citizenship. Our Constitution does not say that you have to speak English. Mind you, that might be something that we may need to change. Mind you, we made the change to say, well, you might need to know the history of the Bahamas or whatever it is, like how they have classes in the United States. But we don't have it. We don't have it as yet. So we only can follow the laws that we have right now. And the laws that we have right now say, man, if you meet the prerequisite that is listed, you become citizenship. And that prerequisite didn't say you got to speak English. But I hear your concern. You don't want no one who speaks Creole to get citizenship. I hear your concern, Texter. But our Constitution allows it. That's my point. Let's go to the next caller there, April. Guardian Radio AM.
Hey, Newry, we had paid those people for what they had done against them or anything like that. But always remember the people in which we are brought in here to assist our people with going forward, we had paid them.
So you don't want no foreign teacher to ever get citizenship. That's what you said.
What I am saying is we don't need anybody to come into our country, government bring in anybody from other country to
I ask you, Brayman, let me repeat again so you can understand. We have had teachers, Guyanese teachers, Asian teachers, Jamaican teachers, American teachers, whoever they come from, who have been in this country contributing for 20, 30, 40, 50. In fact, they never gone home. All their life.
Let me ask you a question.
All their life they have contributed to developing the Bahamas. And at the end of their retirement, when they reach 65, whatever it is, they say, you know what? This is my home. You're saying that they should not be entertained? That's what you're saying?
When government brought them in here to assist, what was the main reason they brought them here and how much time they were given to be here to assist? That needs to be established and be governed by.
Well, we know that every teacher, every doctor, every nurse, anyone we contract, the contract expires, you go and apply, they get extended. We know that's a fact, right? So we now have people who've been here again for 25 years 35 years. They have contributed to the
My point is-
Bahamas. You were saying that you don't want them to ever get citizenship.
When they sign a contract, did they sign a contract to come here to be here for 25 years?
Again, we know that they're on
My
a...
question, man.
I said that twice now, but you weren't listening, so I can say it again. Again, we know that they have contract, and every other year they come and extend the contract. They go and apply. The government say, yes, we need you to stay here, and they extend the contract. And now they've been here for 25 years legally in the country, working and developing the country and generally our children. You are saying, despite their being here working for 25, 35 years, you say they should never get the option of applying.
What the contract signed for? When they sign the contract, what was it signed for? How many times? How many years? How many months? Whatever. We need to live by that.
Yes, Bremen.
Thank you.
Yes. I may have not explained that in terms of extending the contract because we need them, and they reapply, and there's granted again, and there's granted again, and it came up to 25 years, 35 years. But I'm asking, for those people who have helped develop the should we entertain them? Because they contributed. Let's go to the next caller. Guy in Radio AM. The caller hang up there. Oh, you're live. Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Hello, you're live.
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah. You know.
You're kind of muffled, but I'll do my best to hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Bremen basically was on, because I mean, the people come here, right?
You mean the
They came
teachers?
here to
No,
do
just
whatever they
let's,
come to do.
hold on.
They came from, hold on, please, man, let me just talk, man. You on the show.
No, I was asking you a question so you get to explain. So I was saying a teacher come here. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if a teacher comes here, and the teacher be here for 50 years, right?
Okay.
The teacher didn't come here to get no passport. Okay? Why is it that we are obligated to give our passport to anybody because they are here? That's the problem. You don't give passports like that. Passports are precious. But in closing, right? Mr. Newry.
Go ahead.
Mr. Newry?
I'm here, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's rather contentious listening to you because, I mean, it's like you seem to be a part of the problem, like Aaron Green. Like when you talk about immigration, it's a problem. You rather talk about what's on the road, what bumps too hard, which hole in the road. What's more important, our borders or our streets?
But let's have a conversation. You ready?
Yeah.
You speak. I'm asking you.
I already asked you. What is more important, our borders or our streets?
All important. I hope that.
No. I'm asking you which
And then
one
I
is more
answered, but
important.
you want me to answer what you want. I answered you.
No.
All
I
are
asked you
important.
a specific question. You're intelligent.
Okay, let me try again.
No,
all
no,
are important.
try. Which is more important?
See, that's good. For the fifth
Our
time.
borders or our streets?
This could be fifth time. It could be fifth time. Watch this. You ready? All are important. You want to change it again? Because I swear I answered about 3, 4, 5 times. Like you keep on trying to.
I still didn't get your answer.
My God. Okay, let's move on because you look like you will hear me answer about 3, 4, 5 times. I just say all are important. Full stop. My gosh. Let's go to the next caller. Go ahead, caller. Guardian Radio.
Hey, good morning. How are you, man?
Doing well. I'm concerned about the anti-immigrant rhetoric, right? A number of people saying that we shouldn't have no immigrants become citizenship. I mean, it doesn't bother me, right? But there are people who came here and helped build the Bahamas and who has contributed and who is contributing. Should we entertain, say, hey, you being here for 30, 40, 50 years contributing to this country and you want to become a citizen, should we entertain them and say, okay, yeah, man, we'll entertain you?
Anyone else in there with you?
I'm sorry?
Anyone else in the studio with you?
No, I'm not sure why you asked that, but that's good. April, let's take a break. But let's see what's happening downstairs, and then we'll come right back.
Running low on summer funds? Squeeze every drop of fun out of your summer with a Fidelity personal loan. From backyard upgrades to family getaways, Fidelity is here to help. Call 356-7764 today.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Are you searching for something new? Something exciting? Your dream job in paradise? Well, look no further. Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is hiring. Join a dynamic group of passionate hospitality professionals, craft unforgettable moments, and thrive in a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. Play your part in shaping the future while growing your own career every day. Bring your energy, your passion, and your creativity to a workplace that's as dynamic and fun as you are. At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, the opportunities don't just exist. They're limitless. So are you ready to find your perfect fit? Visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career today and step into a world of exciting possibilities.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Hey, you upgraded to Sand Dollar Wallet 2.0 yet?
No, but I heard the updated Sand Dollar app was launched.
Boy, what you waiting on? There's self-onboarding, you can hide your balance, and a bunch of other features.
And don't forget, you can send to and from your bank account for free.
Really? Let me go download Wallet 2.0 and migrate then.
Yeah, come, let me show you.
This communication applies to the Central Bank Sand Dollar app only. Upgrade your Sand Dollar app experience today.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio AM. Of course, this is CA Newry. Everybody is downstairs now at the Guardian Media Group Back to School Jamboree. Basically, the entire staff. Only myself and April is upstairs at this present time. We were unable to do the remote, but Aaron Green is supposed to be hosting the 12 o'clock show, so we're kind of excited about that. At about 12 o'clock today, after the show, I'm going through the BGCSE results, right? And I see it's an improvement. This is something that we need to celebrate and also to make sure that each Bahamian realize that we have from 2024, we have jumped like 20 points. I see in this year, we had 57.6% of the Bahamians who took the exam got at least 5 grades from D to A or A to D. In 2024, we had about 22%. From 22%, we jumped from 22% to 57%. That means we're doing something good. Imagine we continue on this vein and improve on these things. I have a text here that says, Mr. Newry, see why the teachers have to remain longer than their initial contract. The level of comprehension in the Bahamas is poor. So as an educator, I can tell you, you have no idea of how concerned we all should be. I was trying my best to explain it earlier to some callers, but it is concerning. And they say comprehension is a serious thing in our schools right now. Math, English, and comprehension, reading and listening comprehension is a serious thing that we are finding challenging. And then, of course, the workforce is also finding it challenging. Let's go to the caller here. Guardian Radio AM.
Here's a back with you.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so with reference to this immigration matter, right?
Go ahead.
We had a whole heap of immigration applications that had mounted up over several administrations, right? And so that's the first point. We need to address and deal with those, right? We need to address and deal with those, right? So that the government isn't at fault for not addressing them. And secondly, when you see Bahamians are entitled to their viewpoints, right? But ultimately, Cecil, there's a thing called reasoning, right? And if you look at what the realities are in our country and use the approach of a reasonable, right-thinking citizen of the country, you can only come to one conclusion. We need to increase our population, Cecil. And less Bahamians want to pay taxes through the nose or through their noses and realize increases with every administration because we do not have enough citizens nor enough tourists coming here in order to build up the government's coffers with revenue versus our expenditure for modernizing our country and maintaining our country. If we do not want to raise NIB contributions, no matter the talk in the market, we must find better ways to increase taxation in our country without increasing it on the backs of persons who could least afford it. One of those ways, Cecil, is to increase the number of citizens or persons paying in to NIB and paying into VAT and paying into customs duty coming into the country. Those are the realities. Besides the emotional talk with persons with immigration, a lot of it is nonsense talk, nonsensical talk, based in no kind of theory, based in no kind of reality, just emotional talk, trying to upset the nation, especially on the heels of an election. If persons have been in this country, getting down to your point, for 25, 30 years, Cecil, making a positive contribution to establishing and further advancing our foundations and building our country. By all means, the government should create a pathway for consideration for those persons to become, even if only permanent residents in our country, even if not citizens, permanent residents. That's a lifetime they would have dedicated to building our country. And if you're working for the government of the Bahamas, can you hear me, Cecil?
I hear you. Go ahead, man.
One of the biggest considerations is you're not being paid right from the outset. No government, nowhere in the world, perhaps, except in first world nations, pay their citizenry what they ought to be paid for performing government duties. So you're already starting out an advantage, a disadvantage. And so if you continue on for 25, 30 years, giving excellent service that made a difference in our country, and we can measure that difference, we can track that difference, by all means, the government should be more than happy to create a pathway for permanent residency and where the situation for citizenship, right? And so that's my position on that. But outside of that, bear in mind the realities of our country. The NIB fund almost became insolvent if the government didn't make a hard decision to increase, even though the increase is minimal. The increase has to happen every year or every other year for the next 6, 8, 10 years in our country in order to get NIB where it needs to be, right? And even after that point, you still need to have a mass dump of capital into NIB in order to maintain that fund. Taxation in this country, we already at a very high cost of living. Bahamians don't want that.
I appreciate you, Anton, and I do agree with you. Thanks. Let me read this last text. It says, Mr. Newry, I went to a public school in the 70s and 80s, always had a Jamaican and Guyanese and some Canadian teachers. What has happened or changed from the 70s to now? On a contract, when the time up, they went home. Say, I know a few that stayed and married and stayed outside the contract. The text says, listen, this is number of text. It said, listen to Anton. Need to go sit down small and stop and sit small, talking a bunch of foolishness. We do not need, we need to increase prosperity for Bahamians. Bahamians have been paying taxes to death in all our lives. These illegal invaders are not. They have been living in shanty towns built. I say, then regularize some of them and have them pay some taxes. Hey, since we given away country to hostile foreigners that have the tendency to take over and bring down our entire country, let's give the 2 million Haitian citizenship. That's foolishness, man. Anyway, it's 12 o'clock. Aaron Green is hosting the show for the next show right now, right? Let's welcome her. It's got Guardian. What's the name of this next show? Guardian. Anyway, we got to go. 12 o'clock. Guardian Radio AM with CA Newry. Have a wonderful day.